What's going on, everyone? We're going to go live again with Mad Jack Racing today, Mr. Jack Moore, and we are going to discuss some battery maintenance. He's got some helpful hints to help us with just making sure that our batteries aren't dying, cleaning, and other different things that we've been facing with these dual sport bikes. What's going on? Verizon, nice to see you. Where's, waiting for Mr. Jack here. Let's see. Jack Moore. Trying to get mad. Oh, we got Jack Moore. Are we going to go with you? Or are we going with Mad Jack? There we go. Mad Jack Racing. Add him. Bear with me, guys. It's jumping in right now. And as you can see, I have a bike that's missing in my background of my garage, but we'll talk about that. Mr. Jack Moore. How are we sitting?
Riley.
Oh, there you go. I got volume now.
It's going to be interesting holding it like this. I might recruit Riley.
Yeah? gonna act like the Blair Witch Project or what?
Yep.
We
Is that better?
Go sideways.
Sideways. There you go. Like there.
All right.
What's up, Nick?
Mr. Jack Moore, Mad Jack Racing. Very, very appreciative that you're taking the time to help us fellow dual sport and dirt bike riders with some maintenance tips. And today you've got some battery maintenance tips for us. And I've got a small list here of stuff that we're going to go over. But real quick, Jack, Jack's from Mad Jack Racing in Moore Park, California. Real quick, just tell us a brief description of your how many years you've been working on motorcycles, and what is your specialty with these motorcycles?
Well, I've been working on bikes since 2008, so 10 years now, professionally. Always played with them before that, but and then our specialty, we've been in business for about 8 years now, 6 years. And our specialty is definitely race and ride prep. You know, doing the service that your bike needs that a lot of people don't realize that it needs to make sure that it, you know, whether you're racing, riding, going on a, you know, huge adventure ride, just to make sure you can complete the ride or the race without having any mechanical failures.
Cool. So today we're going to talk about battery maintenance. So you had told me that you want to discuss. Let's get right into it. What are the different types of batteries that we're facing with these dual sport bikes, and
okay,
any electric push to start bikes really? What are the two different types?
So obviously you got your standard lead acid battery. You know, it comes with the acid out of the battery. You fill it, you cap it, and then you have to charge it. But now, you know, what's becoming more and more common, which is actually coming stock in the KTMs and Huskies, is the lithium ion batteries. They're lighter weight. They have more cranking amps. So they last a lot longer. They're stronger, and they're made to, you know, be put to the test, you know, for what we're doing with the bikes, you know, so they won't fail as much as the old lead acid ones.
Right. So there's pros and cons with these different batteries. A pro is that they're definitely a lot lighter,
Right.
But the con is that you have to, which it's not really a con because a lot of these new chargers are coming with dual settings. And so explain to me about the charging side of things.
Right. So as far as the charging, the biggest thing, if you know you have a lithium ion battery, you have to make sure no matter what charger you're using that it has the capability to charge the lithium ion battery. There's a lot of chargers out there that don't have the capability, and especially if you're a guy that comes off, you know, a older bike and you already have, you know, like this is a standard battery tender junior. This one will not charge a lithium ion battery. So you got to be careful because if you try charging the lithium ion battery, you could risk damaging your battery. So we have a special battery, which I'll grab. We're charging one real quick, but this is the one we use. It's made by Duracell. It's pretty good. It's probably a little bit overkill for a lot of people, but
Uh-oh.
You there?
Looks like,
I
looks like we got a little bit of freak going on.
Yeah, I turned my cellular off, but somehow somebody is able to still call me. But anyway, so this one is probably a little bit overkill for most people that are, just have one or two bikes. Obviously, we're a shop, so we, need the best of the best to make sure that it's going to do the job. But this one's made by Duracell. There's tons of companies out there that make chargers specifically for lithium-ion batteries, or like you said, that have the switch over to do both. So the biggest thing is whatever charger you buy, you want to make sure that it's compatible with the battery you're using. That's the biggest thing.
Okay, so explain to me about the myths or what people sometimes don't know about how to charge these batteries. Can you just leave the charger on however long the bike's sitting in your garage, or do you have to like turn it off in 24 hours? What
No.
do you got to do?
Yeah, so most battery chargers on the market, again, you want to make sure that you read the instructions on the ones that you buy, because if you just go and buy an off-brand off of Amazon, obviously you want to double check. But pretty much most of the ones that you're going to get at a motorcycle shop, they are made to stay on the bike the whole time. They have a system in place to where they won't overcharge the battery. So it basically just maintains the battery. So it's super low voltage, super low amperage. So it just basically maintains it. So realistically, what I tell all of our customers is I basically tell them, when you get home, just get in the habit, when you're unloading the bike, just plug it right in. And the biggest thing is sometimes it can be a pain, if you have to take your seat off or whatnot. But honestly, a lot of the shops nowadays that when you're buying a new bike, they will provide you with the leads already on the bike. So makes it super simple to where you don't have to take anything off. So this is the lead for a battery tender. It has the plug for the charging end, and then it has the two eyes on it, the positive and negative. So you basically just put these on the battery, and then we route this to somewhere on the bike. If you want, I'm going to take the phone from Riley real quick. So on your bike, actually, I'm going to show people. So basically, I don't think I can flip the screen, but basically you have it routed to come out right here. So pretty much with basically the bike being completely not taken apart, you got your airbox cover still on, you got your seat still on, it's still accessible. So literally all you have to do is plug it in and just leave it plugged in, because you never know. You might be going riding the next weekend, you might be going riding in a month, but just keep it plugged in. That's the number one thing. If you keep it plugged in, you really will never have any issues with it.
And if I might add, because again, like you said, that one's my bike right there that you have in the shop currently. I have mine routed that way on the outside of the airbox. Previous, my 15 had it inside the airbox, but on the 15, the airbox lid can come off a lot easier. And the reason why I have it like that is because I use that also doubled up as my power to my USB at my dash or on my hand controls. So when I'm not riding the bike on a ride, I unplug it as well. So that's why I have it there. But whether you choose to do it like mine or inside the airbox, it's still a great upgrade to put those pigtails on it so you can plug into it.
And it's super simple. And honestly, the KTMs and the Huskies are all coming with them now. I believe, if I'm correct, the dealership is the one that puts them on. So depending on where you get your bike, they might not put it on for you. But from doing all our new bike preps and stuff, we've noticed that all the KTM and Huskies, for the most part, are coming with those leads already on them. So it makes it nice. The thing you have to be careful with, though, is you want to make sure that the lead is compatible with your charger, because there are different chargers. Like our lithium charger is a different plug than the battery tender one. So they are a little bit different. So that's the only thing you got to be careful of. Battery tender, that's the name brand. They have battery chargers specifically for the lithium ion batteries. It's not the one we use, but you can get one of theirs and it'll be compatible if you have
I have theirs.
You have theirs. Let's see it. Charlie, so you can hear.
Well, I had it somewhere. I should have probably had it out for this, but it's the larger one I bought off of, I don't know, one of the parts places online, and it was like $50.
Right.
But it comes with the pigtail and everything.
Right.
And like you said, I can just leave it hooked up and it automatically shuts down. It doesn't overcharge or any of that stuff.
Right. And the cool thing is, like, the battery tender is the #1 brand that most people use, that most shops stock. So, and the cool thing is, you know, if you have a battery tender on, you know, another bike, or, I mean, guys even use them on their boats and stuff, you can, you know, have the same lead and then just transfer the charger from bike to bike or whatever it is.
Right. So that's on the charging side. Just make sure that you understand which battery you have, and you make sure that you have a compatible charger for the lithium side of the batteries, because the regular lead acid will not charge the lithium. And you can actually do damage to it. So you want to make sure you have the proper one. Cleaning. Talk to me about cleaning.
So, and again, you know, it goes back to, I don't know how many people on here follow us on Instagram, but we show people a lot of times what bikes look like when you pull a seat off. You know, bikes can look immaculate, but then all of a sudden you pull the seat off and it gets dirty under there. And ultimately, you know, the biggest thing is just like a car or truck, you know, you basically every so often you pull the seat off, make sure that you disconnect your terminals, you clean everything, you know, thoroughly, because they will corrode over time and they will get dirty. And obviously a dirty connection, you know, can give you trouble on the trail, which obviously you don't want. So
yeah.
It's just another thing to, you know, put into your routine, you know, just take your seat off, check the battery cables and make sure to disconnect them and clean them.
So while we're in that area of talking about cleaning cables and stuff like that, let's talk about the prone issues that we've come across. I mean, a lot of people have come across them about the battery cable, the ground cable coming loose.
Right. So we'll show you real quick, actually on your bike. Get Riley to come over here. Your thumb's covering the camera. All right. So obviously, can we flip the camera around? I think there's a way, right?
Yeah,
there's got to be.
There should be there you go.
There's Tiny. Hi.
Hey.
All right. So right here, basically on a stock KTM, I'll show you, the ground cable gets hooked up to this back fender bolt right here, and it's into a threaded
brass
piece. Yeah, exactly. So, yes. But when you replace it to the sick-ass one for like the tail light and everything, like on your bike, what happens is this screw right here is basically just a wood, you know, screw that basically it goes into just plastic, and over time it will back out, as we found out obviously with your bike. So the thing we're doing is we drill and tap a new hole and leave this one alone, and then just put a bolt to solid aluminum on the subframe, and that way it just won't ever come loose again. The one big thing though on the KTMs is, I'll go back to this bike and I'll show you, is any of the newer KTMs, I believe it's like the 13 SXF and newer, and then the 14 or 15 EXCs and newer. This ground cable right here tends to rub underneath the seat if you're not careful of the placement of it. So you can see right here how it's all worn out. That's from the seat, and as you're bouncing up and down on the seat, it basically turns it to the point where, you know, like this one we're going to be replacing while it's here at the shop. But ultimately, if that loses connection, then obviously you lose power to the bike, and then you could have obviously a major issue.
So let's touch on that, on the issues that this thing, that either the ground strap rubbing on the seat or it coming loose on the fender bolt. What it leads to is, like in my case, my bike felt like it had no power. It was falling on its face. Literally felt like it was out of tune. It was just not running well at all. And then it finally was dying on me, and then it wouldn't restart. So, you know, if you guys are starting to have problems with these newer bikes with any type of, you know, how it's running, sputtering, or even just not wanting to start, you need to go and check out that ground strap. I just had another buddy call me, and exact same thing happened. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like, that's another reason why it's just good to take the seat off when you wash it and just check over all that stuff, just so you don't end up with an issue on the trail. So, yeah,
So that takes care of like the ground straps and cleaning the battery and stuff like that. Let's talk about there's a lot of talk about these newer bikes coming with Kickstarters or not having a Kickstarter. Should I upgrade and buy the Kickstarter kit? Let's talk about the theories behind all that. What's your guys' take on the Kickstarter if the bike doesn't have one?
Well, honestly, realistically, the thing about it is you need to be able to power the fuel pump, and a lot of times you can't get the bike to go fast enough by bumping it to be able to power the fuel pump long enough to be able to, start the battery. So there's a couple different things that you can do. So one of the really cool things that I like is Anti-Gravity, who we sell a lot of their batteries. You have one in your bike, obviously. They have what's called restart technology, and basically what it is it has a reserve cell in it, and what it does is if you leave your key on, which you've done, so if you leave your key on, you basically, it has a cell in the battery that basically is on reserve that doesn't get used normally. So what you do, if Riley wants to show right here, you pop this little cover off, this little holder for the battery, you pop it off, and this little button right here, right next to my finger, basically you press that button, you press your start button, and it will have enough juice to start the bike. And then obviously when your bike is running and while you're riding, it'll recharge the rest of the battery. Go ahead.
Well, that thing works. Like, there's no, like, will it work or whatnot. I was very surprised the very first time I had to use it. I even was with Riley, and I asked him, hey, after I start this, should I put it on the charger? He said, no, just ride it. And it was perfectly fine the whole day. And since then, I've had to use it. Like, I leave my key on. It just happens. But it's a great upgrade for anyone that's looking for that. So you're saying without a Kickstarter, and if you have a dead battery, without jumping the battery, you really can't start the bike anyways. And and I've experienced that with my 2015.
Right. So like another thing that we're doing now is part of our the stuff that we carry on the trail. If you don't have the restart battery from Anti-Gravity, you can do one of two things. So you can buy a super lightweight, super compact set of motorcycle jumper cables. Chances are most of the time you're going to be riding with somebody who has a bike that has a battery, so you can jump it off of their bike. Obviously you can jump it off your car if you really need to. But what's cool is what we're doing now is Anti-Gravity actually makes these micro starts, and very similar to a portable cell phone charger, but basically on steroids. And it has enough cranking amps to be able to, it has this attachment here to where we literally plug this in here, hook up the jumper cables, press the button, press your start button, and the bike will fire right up. It's super lightweight. This thing probably weighs easily less than a pound. And it fits perfectly in our, we wear the OGO flight vest, but fanny pack, whatever, it fits perfectly. So that's another option. So it's just, the biggest thing is just being prepared, when you're riding these things, either have the restart battery or have some sort of way to either, jump it with the jumper box there, or carry a set of jumper cables if you're going to be riding with somebody with a battery, which nowadays 9 times out of 10 you're going to. Something real quick, Nick, I was going to show you is, so on your bike, you saw me take this little piece off, and which is fine. It's only 1 bolt, and you need 8 to take off your seat anyway, so you're already going to have it in your hand. But something that we do now is on if you have a restart battery, we basically just cut out a hole where the button is, so that way you just take the seat off, press the button, and you're done. You don't have to loosen that bracket or anything.
So you do know what's just been added to the list of my bike, right?
right. Well, we were already going to do that, so
do it.
Right.
That's one less thing I have to do when I leave my switch on and kill the battery.
Right.
So So this information about the battery, the restart, and the Kickstarter and all that stuff, that's all for 2018 and older bikes. My bike's a
Right.
2018, and if I leave the key on and it's overnight or anything like that, I do kill the battery. Luckily, I have the restart, so it's not a big
Right.
deal on my end. But we have found out, which I'll give 100% credit to my buddy Chris Bobs. I've interviewed him on my live stream, and then we've rode together and stuff like that. He's a really cool cat. He just picked up a 2019, and he threw something at me that I wasn't sure of about the 2019 500 EXC that he bought. Has a built-in, basically the same thing as a restart, I guess, if you want to say. But I don't know much about it, but you know, Jack also had confirmed that too. So tell us more about that on the 2019. Again, this is the brand new bike, not the older ones. Brand new 2019 bike. What's the new thing on that?
So we haven't, you know, I got confirmation from our friends over at OCKTM, but realistically, Husky or KTM, any bike that has a key now in 2019 is going to be able to, if you leave the key on, it has a system built into the bike to where if you leave the key on, the computer senses it after so much time, and it'll actually kill power to the whole bike, so that way it doesn't drain your battery. So you know, somebody like you who leaves the key on all the time, you won't have to worry about it too much if you have a 2019, which is super exciting. You know, it's going to eliminate a lot of people's issues for sure. So
that's cool. So it's new information that's just come out.
Right.
Other than Chris, you know, that's the only guy that I know that has it or has told me about it. I'm sure if there's another guy with a 2019, maybe have, you know, seen it already in motion and working like it's supposed to. But, you know, again, the older bikes don't have any of that stuff. And if you leave the key on, you're going to drain the battery.
Right.
And so it's something just to note and make
Right.
sure that you're prepared for it, such as jumper cables, because you can leave your battery, you know, if you go into lunch and leave your key on and come back out.
Very easy to forget.
You don't know. So be prepared for it. Okay.
Exactly. And as we find out more information about that, you know, how it works, and, you know, if there's a possibility to, you know, there might be a possibility to where it's something we can implement into the 18s. We're obviously going to, you know, let everybody know when we find out more information.
Cool. So let's wrap this thing up and let's go over some of your top utilized batteries that are on the market right now.
Okay, so obviously number one, we really like the anti-gravity restart battery. It's not offered for all models of bikes, but more or less, pretty much most of them will take the take that battery, the ATZ7, with the restart technology. If you have a 2016 SXF, the motocross model, it takes a different battery. But if you change out the whole battery box, you can actually run the full-size ATZ7 restart battery. We just did a couple of those this last week for a couple customers. So really a huge part of, because of the restart capabilities, we really like the anti-gravity batteries. Another lightweight option is the Shirai, which everybody's super familiar with. You know, and then obviously, you know, there are a few other brands. A lot of shops carry the WPS. It's a blue lid. It's a Featherlight battery. It's okay. It's good for the average person, but we have seen them fail. So realistically, we're pretty much, you know, either Shirai or anti-gravity.
Right. And if someone wants to spend the money on the restart, obviously the restart's where it's at.
Right.
So what is, I think the restart was about $160.
Yeah, I want to say it's like $159 retail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Shirai is sitting at about what?
Oh God, the Shirais are, I want to say they're between 140 and 160. They're right around the same price point as the anti-gravity, but the anti-gravity, again, you get the restart technology. So which
and anti-gravity makes a battery that doesn't have a restart in it. They make a standard one as well.
Right. It's a little bit cheaper. You know, it's still a lithium battery, which is good. But you know, it's kind of a no-brainer to go with the restart one at that point, you know.
Right. And then just to touch on the factory batteries that are coming on these bikes, I didn't have good luck on it.
Right.
Mine failed within a couple hundred miles.
Right. Yeah. So
What?
this is the factory one right here. Um, they're okay. I mean, they do fail though. We've had a lot of customers that, on 2017s and 2018s now that are replacing them, fairly quick. Yours definitely seemed like it went out quicker than normal, but it's kind of just one of those fluke
Right.
things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh,
Right.
yeah, so your best bet is to prevent anything from happening. Obviously, number one, you can run your stock battery until she lets go on you. But at the same time, if you want to just have, no worry, nothing in the back of your head that's going to, make you second guess it, just right out of the gate, just get the anti-gravity with the restart. Or at least carry, some jumper cables or a small jumper box. There's a lot of companies, even on Amazon, honestly, nowadays that have their little battery packs like the anti-gravity jumper box that has the jumper cable hookup to where you can, this one is actually supposed to be able to jumpstart a car in reality. I've actually used it on my car. So for a motorcycle, it's plenty. And there are other options, but this one, it's pretty durable and, it's never failed me. So.
And if you buy one of those, you can also use it for other things such as charging your phone, your laptop.
Right. Yeah, you can charge your phone. You can charge your phone. It's got a USB output. It's got laptop. It's got the 12-volt output.
Right.
So yeah, I've actually taken this thing before I even had my dual sport. I had this thing and I would take it all over in my backpack with me and just charge my laptop, my phone, whatever I needed.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, I think, is there anything else that you wanted to add to this conversation about, the battery maintenance and just general information about it?
I don't think so. I would just say, honestly, one of the biggest things, this ground cable that's grounded from underneath the seat is a really big issue. And I'll tell you that if you own a KTM and you're listening to us on this live feed, I would go out to your garage, take your seat off, and 9 times out of 10, you might have a little bit of, breakdown where, you might have the same issue to where it's about to lose connection. So just keep that in mind. When you take your seat on and off, keep in mind where that is at all times because it really is a pretty big failure. We stock these cables here just in case because it is that known of an issue. But other than that, just know that, the biggest thing you can do to help prevent having battery failure is, have the leads already on your bike to plug into the charger so that way when you get home, you don't even have to take the seat off. You don't have to take the airbox cover off. You just simply roll it into your garage, plug it into the charger and just go inside and not worry about it. And just know that you can leave it on. You don't have to, there are a lot of guys that think that, you have to take it on and off after it fully charges. You can honestly leave it on until your next ride, even if it's a month later, and you won't have any issues.
Sweet. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Just, real quick, where can, I know everyone's watching us on live stream right now, but what's all the different places that people can find you on social media?
So you can find us obviously on Instagram, Mad Jack Racing, Facebook, Mad Jack Racing. I also have an account on there that I frequent. It's Jack Andrew Moore. Damn, Facebook made me change my name. But you can find our business page on Facebook. You can call us. Our shop number, 805-842-1313. Super easy to remember. You can email us. Go to our website, madjack-racing.com. Has all our emails on there, contact info. If you have a question about a bike, something that you think your bike may need, a bike that you might be interested in buying, a tech question on some parts, anything it is, we're here to help. You can call, ask any one of us, and we're more than happy to help. Our biggest goal is to, grow this sport and make each and every person have a better day on the bike, and that's the biggest thing. So,
right. And real quick, if someone wanted to set up an appointment with you guys, what's the process?
So a couple different ways. One cool thing is our shop line is actually a cell phone, so you could always text it. We respond, usually about within an hour. We're usually on top of it, but sometimes we do get busy. That's one of the easiest ways, or call us, or you just go to our website. In the middle of our website, there's a button you click that says schedule a pickup. We do pickup all over Southern California. fill out the form that it prompts you to. Once you hit submit, it'll kick us an email, and one of us will get a hold of you and schedule a pickup, or of course, if you want to drop off the bike, and then just go from there.
And you do offer pickup and delivery.
Yep, all over SoCal. We were just
Not
in
even,
Bakersfield.
Yeah, Bakersfield.
Yep.
You got a couple bikes from Bakersfield in there right now.
Yep. So we go to Bakersfield, once or twice a month. We go to Santa Clarita almost, 2 times a week. Anything local is pretty much any day of the week you need your bike picked up, we can do it. We go to Long Beach. We literally go all over SoCal. So if you need something done, don't be afraid to call us just because you're 3 hours away. If you need something done, we'll make it happen. And
it works out great. My bike's in there strictly just because last week he hit me up and said, we're coming to Bakersfield. And I said, perfect, pick it up. I am so busy right now. I want to have it ready. So they're handling it for me and getting it ready for my Christmas trip and New Year's. And they'll have it back to me hopefully here in the next few days. Yep, by the weekend. Hopefully we can meet up and go ride. Yeah, maybe that too. Well, at any rate, thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know you got plenty of work to do, but we do appreciate this kind of information, and we look forward to seeing what you have available for us next week. We're trying to do these on the weekly basis, and bear with us through the holiday because that's obviously going to be a little bit hard, but information is awesome for us dual sport riders and any off-road enthusiast type rider. Christmas and New Year's falls on Tuesday, I think, this year. So, maybe we can, we'll just double up or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, of course, if you have any tech questions that you want answered, I know you've talked about it before, but if anybody that's watching or listening, whatever, if you have a question, feel free to message either me or Nick, and we can discuss it and hopefully go over and, hopefully be able to make this something to where, we can just answer all your questions and just make things, more enjoyable for everybody. Yeah. On the live stream side of questions, if you guys have something that you want covered, by all means, message me. I can put it in the pipeline. I can talk to Jack about it. If you guys have business questions, as in like you want to get some work done, or if you need help trying to figure out something with your bike, and Mad Jack Racing might be able to help you out, on that, service it or fix a bike that's having problems, by all means. I'm not a rep anywhere there, so hit them up directly and get with those guys and let them work on the bike. Yep, we're always here to help. So there's no question too small or job too big that we can't handle for you. Sweet. Okay, well, I appreciate the time today. Go ahead and get back to work and hustle out some of those bikes, man. I appreciate your time. All right, Nick. Talk to you later. All right, buddy. Take it easy. Thank you. Yep.